And there is what has to be the ugliest building in the city of Toronto. At what I think is a good candidate for being the ugliest intersection. This is Bloor Street and Dundas. There's the Crossways Apartments. And a half a block to the north of here is Dundas West Station. And today is Saturday, March 18th. The time is 2:30 p.m. and the temperature is around 0 degrees Celsius. And for this one, I'll be heading south down Dundas Street West here. And I'll be going for a walk through the Roncesvalles neighborhood. Although in a few blocks south of here, Dundas veers to the east. And this turns into Roncesvalles Avenue to the south. And it's been a while since I've walked through this neighborhood. I think the last time I was here, it was during the big Polish festival in the summer. And it's good to see that 505 streetcar service is resumed. Although the 504 King still isn't running on the stretch. At least I don't think it is. And Roncesvalles, or Roncesvalles, as some prefer to pronounce it, some just call it Roxy, is bordered loosely by Bloor Street to the north, which is where I started, and Queen Street to the south, Hyde Park to the west, which is over to the right, and Lansdowne Avenue to the east, which is on my left. And then after this one, I think I'm going to do a walk through Parkdale. There's a 505 Dundas streetcar. And that streetcar terminates just to the north of here at Dundas West Station. That's also where the 505 would terminate if it were running. And both lines terminate to the east at Broadview Station. And I can't remember the last time both lines were running uninterrupted. So Dundas Street veers to the left here. And to the south, this is the start of Roncesvalles Avenue. I'm going to head along Dundas for a few blocks. There's a 504 replacement bus. Which up until recently was not running along this stretch. As to the south of here at Queensway and Roncesvalles, the intersection was closed off. That's just recently opened. So this is east on Dundas Street West. And this area is to the east of downtown. There was a Halifax donair shop just over there that I stopped into the last time I was recording in this area. And it looks like it's closed up. There's a vinyl records and vintage equipment shop. So I'm going to make a right where that streetcar is turning off in the distance. And that'll connect me back over to Roncesvalles Avenue. Curious Cannabis. It's an interesting name. And there's an excellent brew pub just here on the right called Bandit Brewery, right next to a beer store. Oh, this is new. Wow. This was previously an outdoor patio area. It's quite nice. I wonder if that roof opens up in the summer. It's always a good outdoor spot to get a drink, at least when the weather's nice. So if I were to continue heading east on Dundas, I'd cross over a rail corridor, and that would lead me into Little Portugal. And I think this auto repair garage is on the chopping block. Speaking of which, where that Bandit Brewery used to be an auto repair garage. And this is Howard Park Avenue. I thought that sign might have been for the proposed development here, but that's for one over on DuPont. And you'll notice there's streetcar tracks here as the 506 College, or actually it's named the 506 Carlton, terminates just to the west of here at the Howard Park Avenue / High Park streetcar loop. Oh, it's the backside of a Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Witnesses. And this area that's today called Roncesvalles was originally known as Howard Park. Looks like this condo is struggling to attract retail tenants. I really dislike retail like this, where everything is sort of crammed in these small cookie cutter facades. Really don't get much character at street level. But a pharmacy that's not Shoppers or Rexall, that's a bit of a win. And there's the 506 Carlton. And that'll be making its way all the way over to Main Station, or Main Street Station, which would make it currently the longest continually operating streetcar line. The Queen Street line is longer, but that has been severed just to the west of here. This will be the main retail stretch in Roncesvalles. And across the street is the Revue Cinema. And that dates back to 1912. It's one of the oldest still standing and operating theaters in Toronto. It closed down in the mid-2000s, and it ended up reopening in 2007. And it plays mostly indie and international films.
I don't like them because they're so big.
She said boom, records and books. And you'll notice most of the retail is on the east side of the street here. And the west side is lined with homes and small apartments. And I like these sort of interlocking brick sidewalks. It's a nice change from the usual gray concrete slabs that we walk on. The Chocolateria. And it's worth noting this area is known for being the center of Toronto's Polish community. And every year, except for twice during the pandemic, it hosts North America's largest Polish theme festival.
You want an edible?
It's kind of funny, someone walked out of a store and a lady popped out and offered him an edible. And despite the streetcar not being operational along the stretch for the longest time, apparently a lot of these Streetcar boarding areas have not been modified to accommodate the accessibility ramps on the new streetcars. I think there's been some frustration expressed by locals as to why they didn't do that work while the streetcar line was shut down. Dizzy Gastro Sports Pub. $6 tall boys. It's not a bad deal. And I've heard good things about this smokehouse. The Mercantile. So apparently while the streetcar and bus service was not running through this area, a lot of these retailers were struggling. Kennel Cafe, dog and cat stuff. And here is St. Vincent De Paul, a massive church dating back to August of 1915. That breaks up that retail wall that lines Roncesvalles. I'm guessing the presence of that church is why this house hung on.
Don't raise. We were here like 3 weeks.
And we're experiencing snow flurries. This is Fermanagh Avenue. I was just curious about what this building is. It says High Park Garage on it. Possibly an old auto repair center. I don't think it was a fire hall. Those garage bays don't look nearly big enough. And right around the corner from the church is St. Vincent De Paul Catholic School. This is pretty much what most of the residential streets in this area look like. And on the other side of Roncesvalles here, this street becomes High Park Avenue. That'll lead you over to High Park, where there's a growing movement to not just ban cars on weekends, but ban them 7 days a week, which I think is a really good idea. Pushing along the streetcar track. So tomorrow in the city we have the St. Patrick's Day Parade. And running from Friday to Sunday is Comic-Con. And just behind me is a rather iconic Roncesvalles mural. That's the older streetcar style. It would be a 504. And across the street we have one of the city's Carnegie Libraries. That looks just like the one in the Beaches neighborhood, as well as the Witchwood location up near Bathurst and St. Clair. And all of them were built somewhat identical to each other. They opened in 1916. They've all undergone some form of extensive renovation since then. So that 504 started at Dufferin and Queen. I think the streetcar is running east of Dufferin for the most part. But to the west you have to change over to a bus. It's interesting, the Chopin restaurant, that was the name of the buffet in the Platinum area at the resort I stayed in. In fact, that's where I ate my first night there. That was a week ago. Or I guess a week ago, Wednesday. I still haven't quite fully recovered from that trip. I'm starting to feel better. These snowflakes are coming down a bit heavier. Just gonna make sure the camera looks okay. Seems to be perfectly dry. And that's a look north up Roncesvalles. there's a convenience store and what was an old cinema. Right on that corner there. And this is where Roncesvalles starts to blend into the Parkdale neighborhood. They claim to have exceptional wine and beer. And just down here on the right is St. Joseph's Hospital. That was built in 1921 on the site of a former orphanage. Fever's Vintage. So just up ahead is the intersection of King, Queen, Queensway, and Roncesvalles. In each of the four directions is a different street. That's an intersection that's been under construction for quite a while. And it was actually closed to traffic for the longest time. They called it the KQQR project. King, Queen, Queensway, and Roncesvalles. There's a streetcar turnaround loop right here. And the hospital is just off in that direction. So to the south of here is where King Street West begins. On the left is Queen Street West, and on the right is the Queensway. And normally you'd see streetcars heading in all directions at this intersection. That is not the case at the moment.
So now you just want it to be blacked out?
Although there is an eastbound Queen Street car. And I think they are starting just at the spot. So I'm just going to head on over to that little parkette there, where there's a pedestrian walkway that'll connect you down to the lake. Oh, here comes the Queen Street car. I'm pretty sure they're not going all the way to Long Branch. That one must be just at the start of its journey. Feel free to correct me down in the comments if I'm wrong on that. There we go. That was a walk down Roncesvalles. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below. And if you wish to support the channel, there's links to my Patreon and YouTube channel membership in the description. I have an Instagram account at Johnny Strides. And there is a super thanks button below the videos if you wish to say thanks that way. And I think what I'm going to do is when I start my Parkdale walk, I'll start it from that pedestrian bridge. So if you want to see what that view is like, stay tuned for that video coming up. There's a look at the area around Humber Bay Park off in the distance, and that mini skyline that has recently appeared. Anywho, thanks for watching. Stay warm, stay safe, and I will catch you in the next one. Yoink.